Welcome to February February's Floral Sanctuary Healing Experience. Um, thank you for being here. Our theme for this month is sovereignty, um, and I'm really excited about this particular group of flowers that have volunteered to support us this month, and also for the flower essence of the year. You know, I speak that in air quotes because um, it's just every year I kind of like to ask, like, what's the flower essence for the year? And the last 2 years, it's like immediately the flower comes to just drops in to my awareness. And it was the same way this year. So I'll look forward to sharing that with you a little bit later. And this is one of the rare floral sanctuaries where there's more than 5 flowers. So we actually have 7 flowers to go over today. So buckle up, buttercups. All right. I'm still kind of waking up um, from my night shift. So why do we use flowers? And those of you who've been to multiple of these, you're probably tired of this slide, but um, I do like to just for people who are new to flower essences to talk about why I like to use flower essences. And if you think about it, the flower is the highest communication expression of the plant. It's what catches the eye of the animals, the pollinators. It's how the plant really communicates with the world, right? So if we're thinking about remedies and information, in this Aquarian age, remedies as information, the flower really holds I would say, the highest expression of that information of the plant. And they're really easy to make. Um, they don't require much plant material to make. All you need is the flowers. And many flower essence creators now don't even cut the flowers. It's a co-creative process without even having to sacrifice plant material at all. And those essences are just as powerful. Actually, 2 of the essences today are from a flower essence maker in Washington State that does not cut the flowers. So it's a very co-creative partnership with this, we could say the devas or the spirit of the flowers. Um, you know, if that's outside of your realm of understanding or belief, it's all okay. It's just partnering with the energy of these plants.
How do
Uh,
they do it if they're not cut?
it's So there's a meditative process. The maker will sit with the plant with a bowl of water, and um, often will use crystals as well. Um, so there's that realm, there's that way. There's also ways where you can like put a bowl of water into a flower, like the flower into a bowl of water without cutting it out off of the plant. There's multiple ways, but it's more of an intentional meditative process than an actual cutting of the plant. Most essences are made by cutting, but some growers, some makers do it that way. Um, so a little sidetrack there, but it feels, yeah, it's good because we can work with the energies of the natural world without having to leave our room, right? We can do it in our own, even meditatively. Um, like, I think especially flower essences, for me, they feel very alive when I interact with them. They are living remedies. I don't always necessarily feel that with homeopathic remedies. They feel more like a frequency but they don't feel quite as alive or energetic as flower essences do, in my experience. And I've taught other people that feel the same way. Um, and so there is an eagerness I feel of these remedies to really co-create and help us and support us, especially during this time of evolution that we're experiencing. So that's enough on that slide. Dr. Edward Botch, who was really the modern pioneer of flower essences and created his own remedy 38 set of remedies. He said the action of these remedies is to raise our vibrations and open up our channels for the reception of our spiritual self, to flood our natures with the particular virtue we need, and wash out from us the fault that is causing harm. So really he saw flower essences as a bridge between our mind and our higher self or soul. And the flower essences kind of help to align or repair disconnection between the mind and the soul. All right. I'm curious, what does sovereign or sovereignty mean to you? Feel free to jump in and share. What is sovereignty to you?
Um, just off the top of my head, I would say, I guess being for me, I guess it would mean being soul directed. Um, yeah, not, yeah, that's just what comes in this moment. Ask me tomorrow, I might have a different answer.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, I like that. Anyone else? Yeah, soul directed. It's like, yeah, I mean, and sovereignty, I mean, there's, like you said, ask me tomorrow, I might have a different answer. Um, but really, sovereignty to me is being able to be connected with my truth, who I am, and really operating, moving in my life, making decisions from that place of what do I want, what is correct for me, um, and not so much overshadowed or over influenced by the external world. I mean, yes, we're living in relationship with the world and with those around us, but if if our action in the world is um, too heavily influenced, we could say, by the external world, then are we really sovereign? Are we acting sovereignly? Um, and I think a good what was in royal times, when there was more the monarchy, we were ruled by monarchies. They talked about themselves. The king, the queen, the royalty talked about themselves as sovereigns, right? So they were not under necessarily the rule of anyone else. They were God, so to speak. So sovereign to me is like freedom to act as I desire to, if I'm not harming someone else, to be able to act in the world from that place of freedom and agency. Um, and so I think we're with Pluto going into Aquarius this year, has already gone, it's fully into Aquarius now. It's going to stay there for till like 2041. Um, Sovereignty is a very important theme of Aquarius. And so I think we're all going to be really deeply getting, learning, um, excavating, chewing on what sovereignty is, and the ways in which subtly and not so subtly we have been um, impeded from being sovereign in the world. So it's going to be an interesting ride, I think. It already is. So, what are our flower essences for today? Um, the first one I'm going to go over here, which has came up in a floral sanctuary last year, is mountain pennyroyal, or coyote mint is another name for it. Um, it's a striking flower with all these like rays of purple petals, lavender petals. Um, and anytime I see a flower kind of like that, it has a kind of clearing energetic. It's pushing something out, or it's really clarifying something, purifying. And this one is about supporting mental clarity and strength. It's mental hygiene. Um, it's a really good essence for working with possession or negative psychic influence. So when we've been over inundated with other people's thoughts or projection at us. Integrity of mind for when one absorbs negative programming consciously or unconsciously. Um, and I think, collectively we're at a time where we're kind of coming out of some of that um, influence. All right. Our second flower is red clover, which is in a way kind of piggybacking on the same theme as coyote mint. But this one's a little different. It's more about being protected or being centered in ourselves when we are uh, maybe in extreme situations. Like think of like going to a funeral, and there's a lot of emotions that are happening at a funeral. And when you're sensitive and open, you can kind of, there's obviously the grief of having lost someone, but then you're also maybe picking up all the emotions, anger, fear, grief around you. And so that just potentiates and makes it even more intense for you. Red clover is a great essence for situations like that, where you're going into a situation where you're going to be around a lot of emotion. Red clover helps um, to keep you protected, or at least centered in yourself. Um, it's a good essence for like if you were to have a diagnosis of a terminal illness and you had to tell your family and you didn't really want to tell them because you didn't want to be so affected by how they responded to it. Um, this is just a good essence for protecting you from other people's thoughts and emotional reactions. And then the other aspect of collectively, like, are how are you doing with the collective hysteria that is going on? And I think this essence is helpful for just keeping you calm and steady in yourself um, when the crowd is freaking out. Um, and then the other thing I didn't mention here, this one is also it's a blood purifier. Red clover is a blood purifier, so it's purifying also the spiritual blood, we could say. So when we're wanting to move into more expansive states of consciousness, red clover can be helpful for kind of transmuting emotions that have been kind of stuck in the system and support that movement of expansion. Sunflower, a really great essence for sovereignty. Because it's the sunflower tracks the sun throughout the day. And then when it's past its prime, it just droops its flower head, and the birds feed off of it. Um, so similarly, the sunflower is really working with the spirit, the self, the ego. And when the ego is overly deflated or overly inflated, it kind of moves to to help balance out the extremes, whether it's low self-esteem or arrogance, whatever that polarity might be. It also just supports unique individuality. Um, and then also it's a good father essence, so helping. heal father energy issues, and developing more of a healthy relationship with father archetype. Any questions so far based on what we've shared? I'll lower my hand if I can. Let's see. I don't know if I can get to my. Oh well. Um, all right. So our next flower is star tulip. Really beautiful calicortis. It's also known as pussy ears, I think.
That's
Um,
what?
pussy ears, which is a great name for it because it really is about listening. Um, and you can kind of see, I mean, I can see how pussy ears might be a good name for this flower. Um, so this one is really about receiving from our higher self, from soul, from higher sources, for when we maybe have had difficulty listening or hearing. So it's a really good for developing intuition and kind of helping us to quiet the inner space so that we can hear. So if you have difficulty meditating or praying or just entering into that kind of space where you're trying to interact or interface with higher dimensions, this is a good essence for just opening that receptive chalice of the soul. Which when we're thinking about sovereignty, like, yeah, how well are we able to listen to our higher self and to because that's really that that vertical channel is really what supports our sovereignty, our individuality. And then blackberry showing up as well. um, a great essence for when we maybe have lots of ideas, goals, things that have been in concept in the mental sphere, but there has been difficulty in translating that into actually manifestation and making it reality. Blackberry it helps us to focus. It stimulates the will in us, so like the third chakra stimulation, um, and helps us to have action, to create action in the world. So this feels good for this year, not just this month, but for this year, um, helping us to really manifest from our sovereignty, right? And then Pathfinder, Tree Frog Farm is the essence maker for this essence, and this is one of the essence makers that uses a no cut method of creating essences. Really interesting looking flower. It's kind of otherworldly looking. Um, and as you see down here, the leaves are two colored. So the underneath of the leaf is like a silver color, and then the top is green. So it's it was called Pathfinder. There's another name for it, trail something, trail plant or trail something. Anyway, when you walk through it, it's a low lying kind of herbaceous plant. Um, when you walk through it, where you walk, the leaves kind of turn over and expose the silver, so you can kind of look back and see where you've walked. Um, so kind of like that Hansel and Gretel, kind of thing. Um, so this one we could say helps us to find our way home, but it's also about kind of energetically on a nervous system level helping us to come more into a place of um, alignment and harmonization. Um, when we feel discombobulated, disconnected, or ungrounded, Pathfinder can help us to just kind of um, come back into a place of groundedness. Um, And then this also works, that otherworldly aspect of of looking nature of the flower itself. It is about kind of aligning the subtle bodies, the meridians, and also the ley lines of the earth. So it's connecting us into a more holistic, um, aligned place, um, as divine earth humans, I could say. And then finally, our flower essence for the year. Does anyone know what this flower is? No, that's it. What's your, I guess, how does this flower resonate for you, or how does it impact you just looking at it? If you just kind of take a breath.
Oh, it's beautiful. Is that a
Mhm.
clover? No.
No, I mean, it has a similar shape as a clover, but no, this is much bigger than a clover. You can't tell the size based, from the picture really, but um,
It
no.
looks, to me, it also looks like otherworldly.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Um, so this is a very famous Australian flower, probably the most well-known Australian flower called Warata. Warata, it was sacred, probably the highest flower of the Aboriginal peoples in Australia. Um, and I think the Warata kind of translates loosely to seen from afar. These flowers grow on very, it's almost like small trees, bushes, and have very long stems. Some of them can be, several meters high. And you could see, walking through the bush, you could see this way in the distance, almost like a lantern. Um, and I've heard stories of how the Aborigines would present these flowers to explorers or people that they contacted, like as almost like a greeting or a peace offering or something. There's medicinal aspects to it. But as soon as I asked this year, like, or toward the end of last year, what's the essence for the year coming, and this was immediately the answer that I got, and it's probably of the Australian Bush Flower Essences, which is a company that has made, I don't know, 60 plus essences from Australian flowers. Um, this is like one of the top two most powerful essences in their line. And the kind of key theme of Warta is the dark night of the soul. Um, so if you think about having this lantern that you can see from afar, it's like, the light in a way to get us through the darkness. Um, so even, this is a good remedy for suicidal ideation, even. So that, if you think about connecting it to homeopathy, this would be kind of equivalent to, in a way, to Aurum, which is gold. Um, and similarly to Aurum, Warta is supportive for the heart and the eyes, which gold is also a remedy for the heart and the eyes. Um, okay, I'm sorry. I just seeing that there was a message from David. Um, and it feels firm and sturdy with bold, elegant flames around it. Yeah, I like that. Um, Yeah, and if you think about it, like there is a sense of strength and courage that this flower has. It's like and it's actually it's not just one flower. These are a bunch of flowers that are grouped together and held together. So it's complex. Um, and so this essence actually does bring courage and strength. Um, so what does that pretend for this year? Um, we are going through we could say, collective dark night of the soul. that there is, for some people, it's going to be a very challenging year, um, and this essence to me tells me that what we're going through is correct. Like, you know, obviously, I mean, if you've walked the spiritual path for any length of time, what you experience is correct for you. But um, you know, that we need to go through the dark night, that we need to allow for a place of transformation and to hold to um, maybe a vision of what's possible, even if where we're walking seems a little dire or dark. Um, so I feel this invitation to hold to the light, to hold to our courage, to have heart, to have vision, um, to sustain us for the future, and that where we're going is a good place. It's just, hold the line, or hold to your vision, um, to get there. So any thoughts or reflections on this flower, or what I've said, or what's maybe been stimulated for you?
What's just coming up is they all seem spot on and necessary.
Yeah.
And my just personal inner commentary is, what happened? What flower do you take for the dark decade of the soul?
um right. Well, there are a number of flower essences for the dark night of the soul, but this is just the Australian version. But yeah, I hear you, the dark decade of the soul. um well, I do feel like a lot of souls have been in a kind of season of waiting and preparation for, some for decades. And this feels like a turning point year, like a turning of the tide, or a turning point, um, where I think people who have been kind of in this waiting or preparation phase, like, are getting released into destiny, into purpose, into their mission, or more of a we could say more of an external expression of their mission, because even the waiting has purpose and mission in it, right? But as far as actually having a sense of more fulfillment in that process of mission and purpose, this feels like a turning point year for people. Um, and I think that will accelerate over the years to come. Um, so have heart. And that's really what I think this essence is about. Um, any other thoughts?
No, but thanks for your comments.
Yeah, you're welcome. Um, so we're going to move into the healing portion of our time together. It's a lot of flowers to fit on one slide. So yeah, this will be our little um, slide to just kind of be with. You can meditate with this, kind of lightly hold um, your attention on the flowers, or you can close your eyes and just let the flowers work with you on that level. Um, what I recommend, I'm going to be going off camera here shortly. I invite you to turn off your camera if you like, and to just get into a place of receptivity. So for you, that might mean laying down on the couch or the bed, or just kind of going into a meditative pose. But I do recommend people laying down during the healing portion, because I think that's just an easier way to receive. And what you experience is correct for you. So I invite you to just maybe internally just open to receiving. Maybe even just inviting the flowers, like I choose to receive from you. Like, I give you space to work in with me. You know, and then I invite you to pay attention to what you sense, your sensations, your feelings, what arises in your emotions. There may be memories that pop in, or if you're visual, you may get imagery or have some kind of psychic or shamanic kind of experience. Whatever you experience is correct, and I invite you to just lean into it and allow it. Try not to influence it too much with your mind and just let it unfold. And I may at some point during our time um, come in with audio instructions, maybe some kind of guided process or invocation, and feel free to join in with that or not. It's totally your experience, and I may contribute some to it when I feel led to. But it may also just be complete silence for about 20 minutes that will just allow the flowers to do their work. All right, I'll see you in a little bit. So interestingly, right off the bat, what I'm getting is a need for opening to joy, allowing joy to bubble up in us, and to maybe even have the courage to entertain joy, to allow the energy of joy. Um, so I'm going to invite you to take a step of faith and laugh, um, even if you have to kind of fake it. So I'm gonna start. Um, wherever you are, I invite you to just let some laughter come up. Woo! Ah. Woo. Yeah, nice. All right, thank you. So I'd like to invite you, if you're at a moment where you can follow my instructions, and if you're in process, feel free to ignore my voice. But I invite you to imagine or to bring to mind that one area, maybe several areas in your life where you feel the most struggle, the most difficulty. And I invite you just to allow that aspect of your life or those aspects of your life to just sit in your awareness lightly and invite these flowers into that area of your life very consciously and directly. Maybe you've had a certain approach to that area of your life, or you've had a certain mindset or certain way of responding, reacting, or moving. I should invite you to just sit quietly as you allow the flowers in your imagination, in your intention to just move and work, open to new ways of seeing, new ways of hearing, new ways of perceiving. If there's been hopelessness or despair in this area of your life, I invite you to open to hope, open to light, open to possibility. As it relates to this aspect or aspects of your life, feel yourself coming into deeper congruency and alignment with your truth, your sovereignty. Allow that channel of inspiration and divine communication to open up as it relates to this aspect. Allow yourself to listen here, to receive new information, new guidance. And allow yourself to release any undue influence from outside. Let the emotions and thoughts of those around you, the world around you, just fall away. And relax into the beauty of your own thoughts, your own feelings, the wisdom of your own feelings, the wisdom of your body, And I invite you to just take a series of deep, gentle breaths from this place of ease and relaxation and trust. Allow a feeling of strength and courage to rise up in you and to root you deeper into yourself. And then see that courage and strength rippling out into this aspect of your life and all aspects of your life. What does it feel like to move courageously in your life? How does that feel? How does fulfillment feel to you? Rest in that for just a little bit longer. All right, so I'm going to invite you to begin to bring your awareness back to this present moment, back to the room you're in, back to your body, feeling the support of the furniture touching your body, wiggling your toes and your fingers, opening your eyes when that feels appropriate. And I invite you to come back on camera when if that feels good to you. And I'm curious if anyone cares to share either with open mic or in the chat how that was for you or what you noticed anything that you care to share is welcome. There's no need to share, but I'll give a few moments here just to wait. David says, can't put words to it yet, but went really deep. Yeah, it felt really deep to me too. Thank you, David. Thanks for being here. It's good to be with you.
Well, I can hear my own commentary in my head, kind of making wrong my experience. Just I don't know, just feel in the beginning, I appreciated your invitation to joy, but I was feeling it was feeling really far away from my experience. Just well, it's been a hard day, so I've kind of been yeah, so I was struggling today, and just could feel a lot of sadness, frustration, anger.
Mhm.
Yeah, and just like wanting more of that joy and levity, and you know trying to tell myself that it was okay. My experience was okay, but and then like feeling like I was just making it worse because I was telling myself it was okay, but I wasn't really feeling like, I was hoping to like that I could feel some of that joy and lightness, or have it feel more accessible.
Mhm. Yeah, thanks, Marcy. Yeah, it was kind of an abrupt, in a way, an abrupt invitation, and maybe I should have lingered there a little bit more just with the invitation. But what's coming to me is to just invite you maybe to be with these flowers again in the replay. I'll send a replay link, and yeah, spend a little bit more time. And the joy, it's like kind of fake it till you make it. And I've done exercises before where I was invited to laugh and I was like, I don't want to fucking laugh right now. I don't feel it. But there is some threshold that we can sometimes cross just by that act of faith, because it's an act of will
Right.
to, because we can sometimes be so stuck in the in the mud or whatever it is, you
Yeah.
know, that act of will, just that little opening of will into laughter, um, can have a very profound, powerful effect.
Hmm.
So yeah, I invite you to play with it again if that draws you, and your experience is perfect. All of the fighting with yourself and all that is it's okay. And there's more. So
Yeah.
thanks for being here. Yeah, I know for me, like after the laughter, um, I like it just went really deep for me. Like something opened up really deep. And um I went to set at the end, I went to set my flower essences, because I do send these essences with radionically. I transmit them radionically with a machine, but then I also hold the essence bottles during the healing portion as an added layer of intention and focus. Um, and I went to set them down, and the blackberry essence dropped to the floor. Thankfully, it didn't break, but I decided to take another dose of that just in the moment. Like, okay, we need a little bit more of the will force, which is interesting what you kind of brought up there, Marcy. Um, Blackberry activating our will and also helping us to manifest into reality what we've been inspired with, you know. And sometimes there's things that are just get in the way. It's our own stagnation, our own paralysis of analysis that can get in our way. Um, so may we all manifest what is in us to manifest into the world. May we bring our gifts to the world more fully and more easily in the days and weeks ahead. Well, if there's nothing else that anyone would like to share, I'm going to invite you all to have a lovely. Sue, did you want to share something?
No, I just wanted to say thank you.
Hmm, you're welcome. Thank you, Sue, for being here. I appreciate you. All
I
right,
appreciate it.
thank you. Sending you all lots of love, and
Thanks so much, David.
you're welcome. And I do invite you to rewatch this in the replay and give yourself another dose of these flowers. I do intentionally um, infuse the recording of this uh, experience with the flower essences, so they do come across in the recording. That's part of my intention. Yeah. So, all right. Enjoy the rest of this month, and hopefully, I'll see you in March. And lots of love.